So most people has heard of Plants vs Zombies. The game is about using plants to defend against incoming waves of zombies. In the original games, there are 48 unique plants design, of which there are some similarities between them. Everybody knows the Peashooter, the first plant you unlock, and he shoots peas in a straight line. After a few levels, you unlock this guy, the Repeater. It looks like a slightly more angry pea shooter and shoot two peas at a time. He is double the cost of a pea shooter and packs double the DPS. At some point, I began to think it would be so neat if I can fuse two pea shooter to create a repeater. Turns out, it wasn't only me who thought of that. There is this developer team in China. I will link their Discord server down below. They have made a game called PVZ Fusions, which allows you to do just that. They have also added a bajillion more unique plant fusions, all of which has really cool designs. The only problem, the game is in Chinese, and I can't read Chinese. So half the time, I just fuse random plants together and question what abomination I have created. The game does have a wiki page, but it is severely outdated. So to better understand this really cool game, I decided to make this series where I go over every fused plants in PVZ Fusion, starting with the Peashooter line. And because this is the internet in 2025, to keep your attention, I will also put up a tier list. The balancing for this tier list will be heavily centered around difficulty 4. Please note that the game is still being constantly updated, so more plans will be added in the future. If that were to happen, I will put a note down in the description. First of all, we have the pea sunflower. The pea sunflower is a fusion between a pea shooter and a sunflower. He has 300 health like a pea shooter, but instead of shooting peas, it shoots these mini sun projectiles, dealing 30 damage per hit. To set the baseline, a regular Peashooter deals 20 per hit. This actually allows Pea Sunflower to solo a conehead zombies if you place him on the far left column. This mini sun projectile also has a 50% chance to drop 5 suns after hitting a target. This fusion also periodically produces sun like a sunflower at a rate of 25 suns every 15 seconds. As for his viability, the pea sunflower is actually quite good in the early game because he is better than a sunflower in sun production while being better than a pea shooter in damage option. As for the weakness, the pea sunflower is very weak outside of the early game. He doesn't produce enough sun to keep up with the mid and late game, and he doesn't do enough damage, especially in the higher difficulty, to keep up with the zombie spam. For that, I will put him in the C tier. Next, we have the Cherry Shooter. Cherry Shooter is Cherry Bomb fused with Pea Shooter. Instead of shooting 20 damage peas, this fusion shoots mini cherries, dealing 40 damage each, that is double the damage of a pea shooter. He can consistently hold 2 cone heads in difficulty 4, but falls short against a bucket head and above. In this game, every zombie spawn has a slightly randomized movement speed, so I said consistently, deliberately. The fusion is just alright as is. Upon fusing, the cherry bomb explosion will still deal the full damage. This means if you ever want to use cherry bomb to clutch up a lawnmower in the early game, you can get a little more value by doing this fusion instead. This fusion can be then fused with more pea shooter to defend in the mid and late game, making him the cornerstone of many early stages. In the later stages, he is outclassed by other DPS options, so I give him the B tier. Next up is the peanut. This plant is the fusion of Peashooter and walnut. He has the 4000 HP of a walnut and the DPS of a regular Peashooter. If you have played PVZ 2, you must already know about that game's version of the peanut. The peanut is a defensive slash offensive hybrid that wants to be placed in the back to deal damage, but also wants to be placed in the front to tank zombies. Ultimately, it fails to be viable in both positions. In this game, however, the developer did two things to mitigate these problems. First of all, they gave the peanut a special projectile that pierces infinitely. Secondly, they implemented the glove item that you can use to move any plant anywhere on the lot. The piercing projectile is nothing too noteworthy because the peanut has the same DPS as a normal Peashooter. It can defend against infinite normal zombie spam, but cannot defend against a conehead without taking damage. In normal levels, you rarely see normal zombies spammed in a row, except for on flag waves where there could be some regular zombies sprinkled in with a lot stronger zombies. The gloves, however, help him become a lot more viable. In this game, whenever you fuse two plants together, you create a brand new plant. That means any damage sustained by the fusion material is neglected. You can abuse the heck out of this by placing a walnut to tank a zombie, wait for him to get low, and then fuse it into a peanut and immediately get the 4000 HP back. Once he gets low again, you can now move him to the back line, where he will be a slightly better version of a Peashooter. Finally, once you are ready, you can dig him up and replace a better DPS option. This strategy worked quite well for the early to mid game, where he can stall and eventually defend one lane. This can help you stall out the next wave spawning, giving you more time to gather sun and wait for cooldown. I would argue that for 150 sun, it is better than using an insta-kill for early game zombie spawns. Even better, these plants can be then fused with a chomper to create the most broken plant in normal adventure mode. For this, I put him in B tier. Introducing the P-Mine, my favorite Peashooter fusion. By fusing a Peashooter with a potato mine, you can get the P-Mine. Stat-wise, he deals 30 damage per hit, which is 1.5 times stronger than a Peashooter. Even better, he has a special mechanic where the closer zombies get to him, the faster he will shoot. At his strongest, he shoots once every half a second. Using a walnut to tank, you can get the insane attack rate very consistently. Upon fusing, he also refunds you 50 suns, so in total you get a much stronger Peashooter for 25 less suns. Similar to the potato mine, the P mine also arms itself after 8 seconds. When a zombie steps on it, it will explode, dealing 1800 AoE damage on one square. It also fires 36 projectiles in all directions, each dealing 30 damage. The P-Mine consistently deal 1900 damage on exploding, or 2800 damage in difficulty 3 and below. But you can also use the glove to move the P-Mine directly onto a zombie to make sure all the projectiles connect. That will deal the maximum 2880 damage, or 2000 in difficulty 4 and above. A regular Gargantua has 3000 HP, so one explosion will send him directly to the ER with critical life support. For the total cost of 75 suns, you get insanely good value and can save up a lot of sun for the mid to late game, so I think P-Mines belongs in the S tier. Next up we have the Chomp Shooter. Chomper and Peashooter fused together creates the Chomp Shooter. It inherits the chomping attack of the Chomper, being able to insta-kill any non-gargantua and non-boss zombies. 6000 HP? No problem. After devouring a zombie, Chomp Shooter will go into chewing mode, where it can fire 9 infinitely piercing projectiles, each dealing 80 damage for a total of 720. This is enough to kill anything below a buckethead in difficulty 3 and below, while barely killing a Conehead in difficulty 4. As a standalone option, he is not a good fusion. You can get the chomping effect from a regular chomper, and this fusion doesn't improve on this. The 9 projectile he shoots is barely worth the additional 100 suns for the Peashooter, while the chewing effect still lasts for 30 seconds like a regular chomper. The only use case for him is to reset the chewing time of the chomper. You can let a regular chomper devour a really strong zombie, fuse him into a chomp shooter to immediately get him to chomp again. This can be really strong in the early game, but this is not a unique mechanic to the chomp shooter, so you can use any other chomper fusion to get the better results. For this, he goes to the D tier. Next up, we have Snow Pea. Fusing Peashooter and Peashroom together create the Snow Pea. Upon fusion, the Peashroom screen freeze effect still happens, making it a very convenient fusion to use. The Snow Pea functions very similarly to the original games. It has the same stats as a Peashooter and slows down its target by 50%. What makes this plant very interesting is that every ice-related plant in this game interacts with a cryo system. Every zombie spawns in with an empty cryo meter with the maximum limit of 100. Every shot from ice plants increases the cryo points by a certain amount. Upon reaching the cryo limit, the zombie becomes frozen for 4 seconds. After that, the cryo meter gets reset to 0 and the cryo limit gets increased by 100. This means after that, the cryometer needs to reach 200 for the zombie to get freeze again. The cryo limit can be increased this way to a maximum of 400. Frozen zombies also take 4 times damage from ice plants. The downside to Snow Pea is that certain zombies are immune to the cryo system and take less damage from ice projectiles. There is also a game mode where every zombies are given this ice immunity trait, rendering Snow Pea variants useless. However, outside of that, the Ice Pea is very strong. For that, I will put him at the bottom of A tier. Next up, we have Peashroom. Peashroom plus Peashooter creates the Peashroom. Unlike other fusion, this fusion is not transitive. That means you have to place a Peashooter on a Peashroom and it will not work the other way around. Peashroom fires small piece that still deals 20 damage like a Peashooter, but has a slower attack rate of 2.25 seconds per hit. In PVZ Fusion, the Peashroom is reworked so that 3 can be planted in the same tile. This means a single Peashooter can be fused with 3 Peashrooms at the same time. Combining 3 Peashroom, you get an effective DPS of 26.66, nearly twice as strong as a regular Peashooter. For the cost of 1 Peashooter, you get functionally 2 Peashooter. Even better, after fusing, you can freely move each Peashroom to anywhere on the lawn using the glove, making Peashroom a very versatile plant for the night level, where each Peashroom can defend against a regular zombie. Unfortunately, outside the night level, each Peashroom costs 75 suns, making him very unviable, so I will put him in the B tier. Next is the Doom Pea. Peashooter plus Doomshrooms creates the Doom Pea. Upon fusing, the Doomshroom explosion will still take effect, but won't leave any crater. Initially, Doom Pea fires a black pea projectile, dealing 40 damage. However, Doom Pea has a damage stacking mechanic, where every shot fired boosts his damage by 1, up to a maximum of 60. Doom Pea also has a strong synergy with Frenzy Shroom, that is Scary Shroom plus Doom Shroom. Similar to Doom Pea, Frenzy Shroom also has a stacking mechanic, but instead of stacking damage, it stacks attack speeds. When a Doom Pea is placed directly in front of a Frenzy Shroom, the Doom Pea will inherit the Frenzy Shroom's attack speed, while the Frenzy Shrooms inherit the Doom Pea's damage. As a result, you get 2 insanely fast firing, hard-hitting plants that demolishes everything. I will put these 2 in A tier. But as a standalone plant, Doom Pea isn't that good, so he goes to C tier. So you have seen me fusing two Peashooter to create a repeater at the very start of the video. The same mechanic can be done twice again to create split P and Gatling P. So repeater is fused from two Peashooter, and repeater can be fused again with another Peashooter to make split P. In the original game, split P shoot 1 P forward while 2 backwards. This makes split P very niche and sees little to no use. In PVZ Fusion, however, the developers make sure split P is a direct upgrade to repeater by making the 2 backward shot goes forward after leaving the screen. This way, the niche of dealing with zombies at the back is kept, but the DPS facing forward is triple that of a Peashooter. This is a very creative solution. The split P can once again be fused with a Peashooter to create a Gatling P. Gatling P functions the same as in the original game, where he fires bursts of 4 Ps every 1.5 seconds. Anywhere along this upgrade path, you can choose to fuse the plant with a cherry bomb, Peashroom or Peashroom to upgrade in that respective path. This has also been taken into considerations when I ranked the Cherry Shooter, Snow Pea, and Peashroom. The Peashooter family has two object fusions. The first one is Bug Shooter. Whenever you kill zombies with metal plant's head without using an insta-kill, they will drop a bucket. You can fuse Peashooter with bucket to create the Bug Shooter. Bug Shooter has 2000 HP, deals 80 damage every 1.5 seconds, has knockback, and can break screen doors instantly. This fusion is most comparable to the Primal P in PVZ2, which is insanely strong. If you get a bucket drop in normal gameplay, definitely give Bug Shooter a try. He is really strong and will not disappoint. He goes into the A tier. Last but not least, we have the Chronop. Peashooter added with space debris creates the Chronop. The Chronop deals no damage on hit, but applies a special effect called Chrono Shift. Other Chrono plants interact with this system, but as a standalone mechanic, every second a zombie is under Chrono Shift, they essentially take 30 damage and cannot move. Chronop applies 1.5 seconds of Chrono Shift on the first hit, or extends the duration of Chrono Shift by 1 second if the target is already affected. 30 damage per hit and perma-stalling any one zombie is quite strong. However, when there are more than one zombies in the lane, he really struggles. He can handle 2 slow-moving zombies quite well, but 3 or more and he struggles. He also struggles against 2 fast-moving zombies, so personally I don't use him that often. This is partially because of how rare space debris are, and because he is quite weak against horde of zombies. C tier. Those of you more familiar with PVZ Fusion will know that there are more Peashooter fusions in the game. I am saving them for another video because their fusion recipe is a lot more intricate, with Peashooter as one of the many ingredients. Because of this, I don't think they belong in a video centered around Peashooter. If you are interested, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see the future videos.